One of the common storylines in our world, and I don't necessarily mean a movie type storyline, but the unsaid assumptions which provide the scripts for us to follow in everyday life, is that we can craft a perfect life. We see this informing our thinking and pushing us towards different activities and hopes in many different ways, such as the books and TV shows and YouTube clips showing how to renovate the different facets of house and home, let alone our bodies and minds, or the fascination with reality TV drama, seeing celebrities push themselves to see if they could become a soldier, or ordinary folk try their luck at becoming a pop star. It's a manifestation of our sense that if it wasn't for, or we'll fill in the gap, I could be strong and fast and talented too. Or the way that credit companies happily allow us to extend our debt so that we can buy a better house, or join that particular club, or change over our wardrobe, or purchase new equipment when the old stuff still works, or create that life-changing moment. This is such a part of our experience that we'll often miss how deeply a sense of being able to have it all affects what we choose to do and how we feel about life. It's like the water that the goldfish swims in, indistinguishable to the fish, quite natural, but clearly visible to anyone outside the bowl. As we continue to live through these COVID days, I suspect that one source of disappointment and frustration is the mismatch between our often unsaid and unacknowledged expectation of a perfect life and the constraints we must live under. The Rolling Stones song, "I Can't Get No Satisfaction," is not a bad anthem for these days. But the same verse from Hebrews 12, in which Jesus is called the pioneer and perfecter of our faith, gives us some different cues on where it is that we find completion and satisfaction. In this verse, to be perfect or to perfect something, or as in this case, to be the perfector, carries a helpful sense of meaning which we've lost in our modern sense of perfection. In this verse, Jesus is the telos, that's the original word, the telos of our faith, or the one who completes our faith. The first thing to notice is that faith, as it's used here, is not an essentially private thing, which is more to do with what's ticked off in the mind as a set of beliefs. Beliefs do, of course, come into it, but here faith is more like what we'd call lifestyle. It's an all-encompassing way of describing our emotional attachment to Jesus, and then the way that this shapes what we do and say and think. The second thing to notice follows. The meaning of perfection carries with it the idea of completion. A good way of illustrating this is by asking the question, what's the perfect glass? We probably have all sorts of opinions as to the optimal size or shape or thickness of the vessel. However, if we do not consider the purpose of the glass in deciding whether it's perfect or not, we'd be missing the vital point. For the glass to be complete, it needs to be filled with your favourite beverage. It finds fullness in its purpose by being filled. The most shapely glass is merely pretty if it's not made complete with the drink. So think of a fine glass on a hot summer's day with no drink. Then think again of an ordinary looking glass topped up to the brim with cool, clear water. So Jesus provides for us the same sort of perfection, that sort of fulfilled purpose. But it's not an unattainable, aspirational sort which we usually hold out. It's much deeper and more enduring than that. Here are 3 ways that it's good for us. The first is it grows. Jesus is the perfecter because he is on the task of filling us up. This recognises the ups and the downs of our circumstances and allows for personal growth. It turns disappointment into the opportunity to grow, rather than the sign of terminal failure. Secondly, it doesn't rely on us. We are, of course, involved in this growth, but because Jesus is on the task, we have his assurance that we're not responsible to come good on a satisfactory life under our own steam. Our task is to keep in step with Jesus, not to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. And the third, well, fear is tamed. As I said last week, Jesus, being a real, historical and verifiable person, provides for us a security, whatever the circumstance. Being responsible to ourselves for a satisfactory life means that we can tend to become fearful and anxious when circumstances beyond our control prevent our vision. Jesus has shown the way through the most trying of events. Now that is good news.